Welcome. I am your Polkadot Specialist, Var, and today we're going to talk about Terrence Howard. And what in the world does this have to do with crypto? So if you like this particular episode, please like and subscribe because it'd be highly appreciated. So let me kind of do a quick recap on who Terrence Howard is. So Terrence Howard currently is most known to be an actor. He's worked on like Iron Man, and he's been in several movies, Hustle and Flow. He was also in the show Empire. And he's actually a pretty good actor. I personally like him. I think he's very talented. And he has recently come out with a tape that shows some of his other talents and gifts with his ability to, gather information and, try to articulate it in a manner in which that he understands it. And so he's kind of challenged the way people look at science and math. And there's this big controversy over his findings and his understanding of what he has learned. So with Terrence Howard, just to recap, he was on the Rogan show, and he pretty much has been studying something for many years, and it's more of a hobby and a passion for him. One of the takeaways that I got from the study, from his particular view for science, which he calls Terryology, is he has a unique perspective on there not being any straight lines, that everything is based on curves and curvature, and that the universe and the world is based on motion. And back in the day, people used to look at everything as a straight line because they thought the world was flat. Because of this fundamental misunderstanding of thinking everything is flat instead of 3D or four-dimensional, that a lot of the different scientists of our past got things wrong. So there's a few controversial things that he has said that has everybody talking about it. And one of these things that he talked about was 1 times 1 equaling 2. Now, let me first say, let me say for myself, this particular episode is not about me agreeing or disagreeing with him, but I do want to have the discussion and how this correlates to crypto. So that's why I wanted to talk about this. But again, this is not saying that I agree with some of the science and the math in which he is saying. My particular take is hearing a person fully out. So let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story of this thing called magic money. So magic money, let's say back around 2009, there was this topic on magic money and how this money came from out of nowhere. It was created. And people were laughed at and they were ridiculed. And it was just the nerds' money. And people just used to play around with it, play on computers, and it was this brand new technology that people thought was a joke, that it would never be accepted. So people used to just pretty much throw it away, gift it to people. There was a time where there was a pizza ball with 10,000 of these units called magic money. And this magic money over time people start to look at it a little differently. And today, that magic money is called Bitcoin. And that pizza that somebody bought with 10,000 units of Bitcoin is now like $700 million, and people look at it totally different. It is the currency of El Salvador, and a lot of countries and businesses are starting to take it serious. But at one point in time, this technology was laughed upon. People were ridiculed. The banks would never accept it. And there was situations within crypto that individuals were tried to be made to not talk about it. It was a scam, and people didn't have an open mind. Because of this type of thing, crypto exists because there is a segment of people out there that don't want to hear about something they don't understand. People are fearful these days, and instead of people doing research to trying to gain an understanding of what they don't know, they immediately demonize it. And so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. I'm not a scientist, so I can't really tell you much on the legitimacy of what Terrence Howard has presented. But there are a few things that I do appreciate. I do appreciate people thinking outside the box. Because just like with crypto, where it was challenging the financial system to create a whole new financial system, and people laughed upon it, laughed at it. Ha 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 ha. There's not a lot of people laughing these days. And so because of my experience in crypto and my experience in Web3 and new technologies, when people are laughing, when people are ridiculing, when people are fearful, that could be a good buying opportunity with the venture capitalist mindset. Buying low, selling high. So when I heard people laughing at Terrence, what can an actor actually know? How dare he challenge math? How dare he challenge physics? And how dare he put himself in the same category of Einstein and Tesla and all these other individuals? People were blinded to if there's anything good that he has to say. So for me, I look at things from a standpoint of what can I learn? Am I willing to look at things in its entirety? What I thought was fascinating was the second people heard 1 times 1 equaling 2, they're immediately turned off. Couldn't be open-minded. At that point, people got offended. And because of their offense, it blocked them from listening to the rest of what he had to say. So in this particular show, he spoke for 3 hours, but because of certain things that he said, talking about how he got dreams and different things of that nature that helped point him in the right direction. Some people just couldn't wrap their minds around some of the things he was saying. And because of that, he had to be crazy. He had to be all these different things, God complex, and they talked about him being a narcissist. Like a narcissist, God complex, all these different things. It's like, can we just have conversations, can we have an open dialogue? Some of the things I appreciate Terrence doing was inviting conversation. I had people I was listening to people in the comments, watching stuff in the comments, and they were trying to bring up his past and bring up his character and attack the man and not the idea. And in crypto, you get that a lot. You get people that, because they're fearful and because they don't understand it, they immediately write it off instead of doing research. Maybe you don't care about it, but that doesn't mean that you attack the person. And it was so bad, I think this is what really got me to want to do this particular episode. It got bad that people wanted to shut Terrence up. They really didn't want him to bring his ideas to a podcast and to have a conversation with people because it was so ridiculous. He's hurting a whole community because of his views. I like to have the different conversation. I want him to be able to prove everybody wrong. Thing is going to come down to, does he have working models? Now, that was another thing that was interesting. As I started to do my own research, because people that are in crypto, they understand, hey, now I don't know if Terry is a meme coin or if he's like Polkadot that's a valuable asset, or is he a joke? I have no idea. I don't know what category Terry is, or Terrence Howard, I should say, with his Terryology. I don't know if he's a meme coin or a joke, and I don't know if he is the next Tesla, like a Polkadot, a great technology, the next thing to move us forward. But what I did find is I found some working models, because one of the things he talked about also, because it was like 4 different things that he had talked about, rebuilding Saturn, and I loved the one part that I did like is how he brought up this new periodic table. So I learned a lot, but he brought up this new periodic table where it talked about the elements like hydrogen and oxygen and all these different things. He coordinated light, and he coordinated sound with the elements. And I thought that was very interesting. So there's a lot of things that he said that was very interesting. Also, a whole new propulsion system. Now, these are all new technologies. And if they end up working, it could be like that whole magic money scenario where there's a lot of people that didn't believe. And look who's laughing now. So that's the one thing. Again, I don't know if the man knows what he's talking about or not. I saw some scientists agreeing with him. I saw some scientists not agree with him. But the fact that there was a few that had master degrees, and they said, he's got something. That in itself makes me curious. So I'm looking forward to hearing more of this discussion. I don't believe that people should be shut up. I believe in the freedom of speech and the ability to be able to have a conversation. He spent many years and money coming up with this idea, and time. If you don't even have the drive to want to be able to read his book, this is his book here that I actually have in front of me. It's free on his website. So I just looked up Terrence Howard book, I had to get it from his website. It ends in like TLC or something like that, but just Google it, bring up the book. It's got like a little PDF. And he literally came out with a book explaining his opinion. I mean, the funny thing was people were trying to say, oh, he's trying to say he was, from this particular university and has this degree and this is not, and it's debunked and all this. Man, the man done said in the book that I don't have no degrees. Maybe he said something and maybe people misunderstood in the past or something years and years ago. But recently, when he brought out the book, man, he's like, listen, I'm self-taught, I heard him say that he went to a school for a certain amount of time, I think within 1 year, and didn't finish. But hey, I was self-taught in crypto. Doesn't mean I don't know what I'm talking about. It means he was passionate. While he was acting, he was studying something that he was passionate about. And that's the one thing that did come out when he was talking on the Rogan show, was his passion for science and understanding and why. And I appreciate that. I appreciate him putting himself out there. In my past, I've done poetry. And I had a passion for expressing myself, especially when I'm going through different issues in life. And it takes a certain amount of courage to tell people in the world something that you're passionate about, like an idea that's outside the box, that you put so much time into and so much emotion and care, for people to just tear you down and not even take, something that took me 20 years, 30 years, been working on my whole life. You can't even listen to a full 3-hour show and then you have your opinions. I wrote a little small book. It's around 100-something pages, and you can't even take the time to finish it, to hear the thought out. The information's there. How long is this book? I think this book is like 160-something pages. 162 pages, But he has a whole lot of different things. But if he's right, and 1 times 1 equals 2, that can mess up a lot of different things, which I agree with, But again, I don't agree with the mathing. But I can understand the idea. Challenge what people think is true. So just because it challenges your regular everyday thinking doesn't mean it can't have some validity to it, right? People never thought that Bitcoin and crypto could ever be a thing with this decentralized ledger and governments not being involved, and you have to have a third party, you have to have a bank. But now, look, we have a Bitcoin ETF where financial money is pouring into crypto. We're about to get a Ethereum ETF, which is a second crypto, and it's about to all pile in. So at the end of the day, with the Terrence Howard situation, everybody talking about it, it's going to come down to what is he able to do with his idea. I did see a little drone that showed these, his new propulsion system, and it shows like, it's like a hexagon-ish looking type thing. I can't even explain it, but I was amazed that thing was even on there, because he had these little models and stuff like that. But then when I saw that they actually had live drones that showed some of what he was talking about with his new technology and stuff, I was like, oh, okay, all right, there may be some validity to what he's saying. But time will tell. It's always important to do your own research with what Terrence Howard is saying, and in crypto and new technologies to come. It's not always great just to write things off because you don't understand it. Why don't you do the research? Why don't you listen to the podcast? Why don't you search other people's opinions? I think it's very dangerous to want to shut people up. And that's one of the things I love about crypto. It's for the people. You have big governments and these big companies trying to shut people up. They don't want you to hear this. They want to have this big propaganda machine. That's very dangerous. You can't have people to express their thoughts and their ideas without being attacked by big corporations, by people that are just fearful, by governments. So, hope you like this episode. I know it's different. Oh no, it's not the norm when it comes to talking about Polkadot. But I thought it was good to be able to talk about protecting the freedom of speech and our rights in general. You know, just like the right to privacy, the right to have decentralized technology, the right to not be controlled by governments and big business. Isn't that what crypto's about? Bringing the power back to the people. I even had a thought. I thought it was a little funny to myself about Terrence Howard coming over here to the technology and misfits of the world. You can have a meme coin. The joke. Have his initials be the coin and have the coin's name be Terryology. And maybe the coin can have a use case of empowering his tech. If it's real. If not, it remains a joke. But hey, crypto is about, to me, possibilities. Thinking outside the box. Disruptive technology. Bringing something new. I am your Polkadot Specialist, Var. I appreciate your time. Please like and subscribe. God bless.